What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the No Fucks Podcast. How you guys doing? How you doing, Jay? What's going on?
Living the best life out here.
Alrighty, with the podcast of talking about bullshit and keeping it real. Your host Kyle, and with the man, the blue Power Ranger over here, fucking Jay, the Hood Ranger.
Yeah, you fucking right. You out here. You fucking out here.
Letting those colors fly.
Letting niggas know.
Yeah, what's up, buddy? How you been, man? What's been going on this week, man? It's actually been a crazy fucking week, man.
The week work sucked this week. But it was entertaining. These two old head motherfuckers, this one old head that the fucking I hate. He almost got popped on by this other old head the other day. First thing in the morning, I come in 6:30, these niggas arguing. And I just hear this motherfucker get up, start snapping on bull. I'm like, I quit. I don't give a fuck out here. I'm like, ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. And then your man's Mikey B got snapped on today. By this bull Breon, because Mike was trying to get him to do some shit. Bull wasn't trying to do it. Like Mike wanted this nigga to learn the machine, learn how to run these CNC machines. Bull doesn't want to do that. He just wants to do this one thing that he does because I don't want to say really good at it, but he's good at it. Like and it's hard to find people that want to do what he does all day, every day. Like he doesn't want to do anything else. Like it's hard to find that because everybody else hates doing that. So like, you kind of think you would just be like, hey, all right, I'll pass and find somebody else. But Mike really got it out for Bull. So
he really wants to teach him. He really wants to take him under his wing, huh?
No, he wants me to teach him. Well, he just wants somebody to teach him how to run these fucking machines. He don't give a fuck who teach him, but he just wants this Bull to learn the machines because he just think that all he do is sit on his phone. But he sit on his phone because he get done the work so quick that is brought to him. So like, fuck you want him to do?
And yeah, sorry for this dude being good at his fucking job.
Right. And if he comes to the machines, he's just gonna be sitting on his phone anyway while the machines run. But anyway,
yeah.
So
digress.
The other morning, I didn't start the machines because fuck it. And Mike was like, "Why did you start the machines?" And I was like, "I didn't know. I just didn't know.
Didn't know that was my responsibility."
Honestly, yeah, because I just didn't know. So he go to the bull Breon and like, yo, come here, I want to show you how to turn on these machines. And the bull Breon, he go over there and he not paying attention, and he come right back over to where me and JW were talking, and he was like, yeah, he tried to show me how to turn on machines.
Didn't listen to none of that shit. Yeah, fuck that shit.
About that, y'all start cracking up. So then later on, like a little later in the morning, he like, yo, I want you to show Breon how to run these machines. Like I really want him to train. I'm like, all right, fuck it. So I go get Breon. Yo, Breon, come on over here. Yo, Mike wants you to come with me today. He said, all right. I was like, I'll just need you to help me though. I know you don't want to learn the machines. I'm not even going to try that. Just help me fucking load, unload, break off parts. You know what I mean? He's like, all right, cool, got you. So he doing that. And then first time he just in the back of the aisle, just on his phone, back to the machines. Mike see him, Mike like, oh, where fucking Bree? Oh yeah, he in the back of the aisle. What's he doing? The fuck do I know? He's just in the back of the aisle. So Mike go to Bull. All right, Mike go to Bull. He tell him, yo, I want you da. Right. So Brian come to me, he like, yo, Mike tripping, whatever. I'm like, yeah, I get it. So then the second time, like an hour and a half later, yo, where's Brian? In the back of the fucking aisle, nigga. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, what are you doing? Same thing he was doing last time. Fucking no. So Mike go to him, and I go upstairs to go get a soda or whatever. And I come back, and they're in like the middle of like the area, right, like in front of everybody. And Mike trying to explain to him. I can't hear what the fuck Mike saying because Mike talked low, but I guess he trying to like tell him why he wants him to learn the machines. But I just keep hearing my nigga Brown, why? And I'm just like, yo, and like that nigga is so animated. He taller than Mike Mike ain't tall, but you know,
Like throwing his hands over his head and shit.
Yeah, and he's super animated, and Mike just walk off.
I'm just picturing it, man.
Cool.
Like a
So
cartoon.
Mike go to this little area, and like he like right by us. He go start doing this coping shit because we should really short-handed. And Bull Breon, he yelling, he like, Jay, don't waste your fucking breath on that shit. I don't give a fuck. I ain't learning that shit. I don't give a fuck. I'll help you though, but don't waste your fucking breath. Fuck what he talking about. I'm like, all right, cool, I got you. All right, yeah, nigga, I already knew what it was. Like way before, nigga. We've had many conversations how you don't want. I don't know, but I get it. Like he just trying to make the point to Mike to hear, so Mike can hear. Like you really, really don't want to be on these fucking machines. So I go to lunch at like 1:30, and I leave. I have 2 programs on each machine that are long, so they should be running by the time I get back from my half-hour lunch. And the one probably was going to be done before, but I didn't know how time before, so it might have been down for like 5-10 minutes maybe before I came back. So I come back from lunch. Breon took the parts off the machine that were done, and he broke them out and put them wherever the fuck wherever people will process them at. And he left the material on the table. That's fine because he don't know if I'm going to reuse the material or anything like that. Mike, look at me again.
Where Breon at?
He pointing to the back. I'm like, Mike, I can't fucking hear you. I go over and he's like, yo, Breon in the back. Yeah, Breon right back there. What are you doing? Same thing you've been doing all day, Mike. The fuck you keep asking me? Mike, look at me. I start laughing. I just shake my head. I walk off. I see Mike walk to the office. Mike get a little write-up paper. He fucking go to Breon in the back of the aisle. I'm just looking while I'm working. I see Mike trying to put on the paper, explaining to him the fucking John, whatever. And next thing I know, I turn around, Breon right behind me. Hey, yo, I'm out. Huh? Yeah, I'm out. Yo, Mike just ripped me up. I'm out. Yo, I'm going home.
All right, homie. Peace.
So that was dope because it was funny watching Bull snap on Mike and Mike just not know what to do. Like he just had like nothing, like not even just the like, hey, look, he just kept trying to just say what he was going to say. Well, but why?
Bro, this shit just reminds me of fucking old Red versus Blue back in the day. Just him coming up to you, fucking asking you, yo, what's he doing now? Like, bro, you asked me 5 minutes ago what they were doing. 5 minutes from now, when you ask me, what are they doing? My answer's gonna be, I still don't fucking know.
Right. It ain't my problem. Like he worked what I need him to.
I mean, if you're doing the fucking job that you're supposed to be there for, then fuck it. What? I don't know what you're fucking looking for there, boss man.
Like, last week, Mike gonna try to tell niggas and spin motherfuckers talking about, yo, the more you learn, the more money you get paid. Motherfuckers ain't going for that type of shit. So like, Bulls in Bulls' mind and everybody's mind, why be on these machines breaking my back for $16, $17 an hour when I can go sit at this fucking table with a little sharp blade and just do this all day? $16 an hour, 16, 17. Why do that? I'm good. Fuck that machine, bro. And I can't be mad at a nigga. And like, you don't want to bring nobody up. Like, you don't want to like for to be picking on him because now I do feel like he picking on him. Like, Bull don't want to do this, and now you keep forcing him trying to do some other shit. Like, I do feel like Mike pushing a line where HR might be like, "Hey, bud, you're fucking up here." But and funny enough, one of our other coworkers already has a complaint into HR about Mike and upper management because he put in his 2 weeks, and he feel like ever since he put in his 2 weeks, motherfuckers just been like piling more work on him personally.
Wait, Breon put in his 2 weeks?
Nah, this other nigga Q.
Oh yeah, that's usually how they fucking roll.
Like today, he was the only one in the area with the little blade to burn. He's like, what the fuck? Like, he got a back injury also, so he can't be picking up heavy shit. So like, he got to go slow anyway. So he's like, why would you put me by myself? Like, I put in my he just feel like he targeted also. So like, he's already called HR 2 times, and he said he's gonna call him again today. So Breon probably gonna call HR. If I was him, I'd call HR. Like, yeah, yo, this nigga picking on me, yo.
No, I feel that.
And like, you don't want to grab nobody else from any other department. If it really is cross training, like you want to cross train is what. All right, go bring somebody from upstairs and bring them down here. Go bring that old nigga that almost got popped on and bring him down to these machines. Go bring that ugly bitch that look like Brett Michaels on the machine. Like, nobody wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's not usually how it works. They're just gonna keep training the same people that are around the same shit all day. So, but at least at least you got some fucking shit to watch at work, though. At least
Yeah,
you
it
got
was a
shit
good
to keep
day.
it interesting.
Yeah, it was a real good day. Yeah, I like watching Mike Freeze though. That was fun.
Yeah, I can't say I have anything that's crazy like that. I work by myself, so it's fucking. I just fucking scour the internet all fucking week.
Yeah, but you be in a
So,
break room full of niggas. You never know. Motherfuckers might flame on somebody and pop off. No.
nope. I'm not on that
Yeah.
side of the building, so like I literally am like by myself all day, which
Yeah.
is I mean, it's cool for me because like people will come down and I'll fucking chit chat with whoever, but like. And like if I go over there, I'll go in over there and bullshit and I'll bust balls on people. But then I pretty much go do that for about 10 minutes and then I roll back out. So, but yeah.
Yeah, damn, that's wild. So why was this week crazy?
I don't know. There's been accidents of trains. We've got fucking people getting acid rain. Fucking leaders are fucking fucking going into hospitals for depression and fucking other mental health problems and physical problems and dodging shit.
Buildings.
You got fucking the internet freaking out on fucking on like J.K. Rowling and shit like that. So I mean,
People falling out of windows in
people
Russia.
falling out of windows in Russia. That shit's crazy. Fucking all types of crazy shit, man. It's just been nuts. But I guess the first thing I would like to touch on, like, what do you think about the fucking this whole train ordeal?
I didn't really know much about it at first.
Oh, shocker.
And then,
That's what I'm saying.
Like I heard about it. I just personally never cared to look into it. Other than I heard about the train derailing. It happens all the time. I don't really, care to look.
I don't know how. How the fucking train? It's on rails. How the fucking trains just be falling over?
Couple reasons. I don't know if you want to go give Joe Biden credit, but part of Joe Biden's infrastructure bill is to fix bridges, railroads, and roads. So like, if you look at the railroads, you're like, oh yeah, look, this just goes straight. But think about
how long it's been there and the last time it's been fixed and shit like that. Yeah,
get maintenance ever, other than ones that are just getting freshly built. So yeah, I didn't really look into it. I still really haven't until they said there is a fucking black cloud over this fucking town, and I was like, ooh, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, bro, I've been seeing mad videos about that shit, and like the water, like the fish in the area are all fucking dead. Frogs are dead. People were making tea out of fucking the water out of their sink, and there's like flaky shit all over the side of like or in their containers. People were this one bull made a cup, like a little pot of coffee, poured his milk into it. His milk started sizzling and shit. Like, bro, it's fucking nuts. And then like the railway over there is just saying like, nah, yeah, everything's cool, everything's been contained. Like even though the chemical that they have is it is putting toxic fucking chemicals into the air, and like it's just dispersing everywhere. And they're just saying, oh well, we're cleaning it up. It's good. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see over the next like 20 years when people start getting fucking cancer left and right, and they're like, I don't know where I got this from. You could have got it from anywhere.
I mean, even if they do trace it back to like this incident,
yeah, you're not gonna be able to prove it. Like you're not gonna be able to hold the fucking train like the whatever the fucking train company. I don't know if it's Pacific Union or not, but like
no. But even if you could, in a perfect world, you do all it like you can figure out who you can sue, and they admit fault because like the coal mine. Hey, we all got fucked up. Everybody class action lawsuit. Like, but it's just gonna be a massive lawsuit.
Yeah, which the company that is gonna pay it out, well, it'll just be like a slap on the wrist for them because they make so much goddamn money.
Right, so, and it's going to be 20, 30 years. Like, they know, and their lawyers are already crunching numbers. If the accountants would be like, all right, start putting those out of this.
Yeah, every family's going to get like a $50,000 check for their fucking dead one, and then it's just going to be that person's in the ground. Yep. So it is definitely wild. I do find it very fucking weird, and I guess I want to scratch your brain on, like, I do find it very odd that, like, since the pandemic has started, like it has been nonstop. Like there's a shortage of something else every other fucking time, and there's always been like there was the eggs. There's an egg shortage, and then next thing that happens, you see a fucking egg fucking packaging plant gets burned down, or like this farm gets burned down with like that does like 10% of the United States eggs. There's like these trains getting derailed with all this types of shit. There was a fucking baby formula shortage of the Similac company. So whoever fucking runs Similac, there was a contamination in their baby formula, so they had to shut down production of that. There was a shortage of tampons at one point. Like,
I remember that.
yeah, bro, it's literally been nonstop. Like every other month, there's some sort of shortage of happening, and then you also see behind the scenes there's some sort of like infrastructure fuck up where like the Evergrande that like stopped up the Nile.
Ah.
Fucking real convenient though.
I mean,
There's a pandemic and now this fucking random boat just gets fucking stuck in the Nile. That like how many times do boats just get stuck in the fucking Nile?
now, I mean, that was unprecedented, I feel like. But
It's all unprecedented though. That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like this is like in the way that it's going, I feel like this is fucking like targeted attacks that keeps fucking keeping the like shit fucked up. Keeping like everyone's been bitching about inflation and shit, and then they bring up the supply chain. The supply chain is constantly fucked up due to like these wild fucking random events that keep happening.
Now, that I will say, partially, I feel like is the last time we were in this type of economic situation, we didn't give a fuck. Money wasn't a thing to us because we were kids. So whatever was happening, if bread was going up $3, not our problem because mom was going out and buying bread regardless.
Yeah, 100%. But also like the problem with that, like, sorry to cut you off.
So no, I was gonna say, so like even if there were train accidents and like we just didn't like, you know what I mean, we only started caring about news and world events ideally once we got our age, caring about the stock market and like
I don't feel like that is that is it. I feel like now that since everybody with a phone is a news outlet is the difference in that. So like granted, yeah, you're 100% right. Back in 2008 when the real estate fucking market crashed, like and everything went sky high, like gas was $5 a gallon, fucking how like everybody lost money. Stock market was in the shitter. Like we didn't we weren't young, we weren't old enough to give a fuck about it. And then two, there wasn't just you couldn't just hop on your phone and then just be flashed with fucking all of this crazy news. Like you didn't have TikTok where all these videos were just coming up. Like you weren't just seeing fucking connect the dots of all this fucking wild and crazy shit that's happening all the time. So, I mean, that could definitely be a good portion of it, but it just seems so fucking wild and coincidental. Like, oh, we're having a, like, the car market, fucking, the prices of cars are going astronomical because we can't get computer chips for these fucking cars now. So we have just fucking fields of cars that are just ready to be, like, ready to go out, but nobody can drive them because they don't have the computer chips. We can't put heated seats in cars because we don't have the computer chips to turn on your heated seats. So, like, I don't know. It just seems super coincidental and super fucking wild, and it's just scratching the fucking.
Because it all still ties back to the pandemic. Like train derailments, that's just a natural thing.
Yeah, I mean, train derailments happen all the time. Yeah,
right.
But it does just seem weird that, like, granted, with all like, this is the only time I think that like one of those toxic chemical things, like, catches on fire. So that's what the big problem. So I mean, I know they all like trains haul chemicals across the country all day, all night. So
you remember that one that happened? I think it was Pittsburgh. I might be wrong, but it was somewhere in Pennsylvania. Maybe. But it was this train, and there was this. It goes to this train goes to this town, but it was this sharp ass like fucking turn, and they're like, oh, it's like trains been around for like 50 years, but like that one time that turn was just
too much for them,
right? To conduct too fast or whatever the fuck. Like I saw a video yesterday of There's a train route in America. It didn't say where, but it said it was just the point of railroads in the U.S. being shitty. And it was like the straight on look of a railroad,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing was like this, and like this train is going. You're like, there's no way. Like this rail is shitty, and the train's going over, and you're like, I don't know, man. Like,
But that's another thing. Like that's another part. Like another thing that you're taxing on. Like we pay so much money in taxes for all of this shit to be maintained and to be built. Where the fuck is all that money going? Like it just seems so wild. I mean,
so the question would with a lot of our money goes to the military. So would you rather have the number one military, or would you rather have a country that is infrastructure wise perfect, but your military's we can defend ourselves, but we ain't them boys.
see, I feel like the problem with that is that I mean, granted, yeah, there is years and years of investment and stuff for the military, but like our military is so far more advanced than most other militaries that like, and we're so fucking like, well, we're not the largest military like by any standard. China has got us outnumbered, but like our technological fucking girth is fucking, we run the world. So I mean,
Right.
it does, but like,
And that's where
granted,
the money goes to.
I know the money, like I know a lot of the money goes to that. Like the military budget is ginormous. Granted, we're taking out fucking weather balloons that were hobby balloons with $400,000 missiles. Like we fucking flex hard whenever it comes to fucking like, hey, you want to see some fucking shock and awe? You want to see something go boom? Right. We got you. So, but like, like Pennsylvania has the most expensive road in America.
What does that mean?
The PA Turnpike. We have the PA Turnpike to drive from one side of Pennsylvania to the other side of Pennsylvania is the most expensive road in America. It is like $50 something to drive that from 4 hours from the one side of Pennsylvania to the other. Probably more now. But like, and all the roads in PA are still super fucking shitty. They all have potholes. Then they've tried to film, and then they're still fucking shitty. Like I get it. You're spending tons of money on infrastructure and shit, but like, or you're on military and whatnot. But like, there still should be like, even with Stowe, like you're still taxing the people extra for like, and the reasoning behind it, you're saying it's like, oh well, these roads we got to keep with this money we're using it to fix the roads, but like you still drive around every day and you're like, bro, these roads are still shitty. I'm hitting potholes left and right, blowing out tires. Like, and then I got to go pay for the tires. There's a dump truck with a rock. It comes out because he's gonna go fill potholes. Comes out, cracks my windshield. That's fucking. If I'm driving a brand new car, that's $3 grand out of my pocket now. And are you gonna pay for it? No, I still gotta pay for it. So I'm paying for my shit to be fixed and I'm paying for your roads that you're supposed to be fixing, but they're still shitty. And you're telling me that all the money is just going to the military?
Like a good portion of it.
That's why chunk of it does, but like
that's why your roads are shitty though, is because we don't have enough money.
What do you mean we don't have enough money? We're giving you all the money.
No,
we give you all the money
because. So right, you think like even like without the federal, just on the state level, everybody that's locked up, we're paying for. We're paying for all the police, locally in the state and county, whatever you're getting taxed for, Chester, Philly, wherever, fire, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
What else? You are paying for roads, traffic signs, sewers, and all of that. Now, also the problem, right? The way unions are set up, niggas are paid by the hour, not the pothole and how well it's done. So if you were to pay by pothole and how well, we're talking something. But I'm out here. We're just going to do this.
Yeah.
Half-assed.
I feel like the problem with that is that you're fixing it with you're going out to fix the pothole instead of fix the fucking road. Like that's the problem, is that you're cheaping out on the repair, so therefore like
Well,
it
you
still be
can't
shitty.
you can't repave a road every time you get a pothole. That's not efficient.
No, yeah, it's not efficient, but like you can still put stone down and then fill like the pothole with the correct materials instead of just putting tar over it, and then the tar folds in, and now you just have a filled in pothole. That's still now just a big bump in the road. But either way, like it still just seems
I
fucking. It's just baffling to me. That like
No, I agree.
like
I fully agree. It's mind blowing. Um, but
yeah, what are you gonna do? What are
yeah,
you gonna do?
and I guess that's why you run for governor or something, so that way you can figure it the fuck out,
I
and
don't
then you
even think
get
you
in
could do
there.
that, because eventually, because like if you're signing up to go do that and you're gonna go work for fucking to work to be the governor or whatnot, you're gonna have the big money people, like the big union guys. They're gonna fill your fucking pockets with money, and be like,
I
yo,
know,
we're gonna let this go, but like you're gonna look the other way while on this, so that way you can come, like you like eating steak and lobster every night. No, we can make that happen if you just turn your blind eye to this over here. So, and like these jobs over here, only let union guys work it. So that way everybody scratch. These families get paid. These people get paid. You get
right?
paid. Everything's good. So I think it's like it's a greed, never ending battle, pretty much.
I would like
So
to see it though. Like I even like I know like how that go, and I feel like everybody that gets into politics understands that, and some of them that's even what they'll stand on. I'm not letting big pharma, whoever good, great, whatever. Don't believe you, but
exactly, because you don't believe them,
but
because you know they're going to turn around as soon as they get elected or like get some power, and then they're just going to turn the blind eye to it.
but that doesn't necessarily like for if I were to ever want to do politics, it would strictly only be to
Line
see
your
literally
pockets or to see the
no,
corrupt.
just to literally see on paper where does everything break down. Because we're sitting here, I don't know where one of them, governor, mayor, somebody know where everything goes, and I just want to see it on paper, and
But
I
then
want to be
you know
that
what's
guy.
what's also mind boggling on that? Then you look at the guy who is in charge to go look at that, and he's fucking licking windows because he's got strokes. Like he's fucking checking in because he's depressed and he's sad. Like, are you kidding me right now? This is the leader. This is the guy that's voting on our behalf due to these, like, on these important issues. So like,
Yeah,
and
yeah, he's the
we're
one
all
that
just be
fighting
like, oh well, I mean,
for fighting for us.
this is where we're at.
Now, can he fight for us in a fucking facility?
Like
Like, do
fucking
they?
fisticuffs.
No, like I'm saying, like when Congress has a meeting, like do they just like fucking FaceTime him in from his mental facility rehab or whatever the fuck?
I don't know. I don't
Does he
know.
just write a letter? Like how that work?
I have
Or
no
we
idea.
just
I would
sound him
assume you
out,
have to be in the fucking, you'd have to be in Washington to deal with some of those issues when you're going to vote on stuff.
so we're
So
just fuck this PA
pretty
people
much.
and their
So
fight in Congress. Got it.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty much just like, oh, what did he like?
The
You'll just
Senate.
go to his like receptionist and be like, yo, what does he feel about this? Oh, he feels about that. Okay, and she'll just regurgitate whatever the narrative that goes on. I do just also feel like it's very strange timing that he has to go into the hospital and then check into a mental place as soon as, like, there's a thing over in Ohio, and then, Winds carries that shit into Pennsylvania. So, because, they're neighboring. So just
Oh, you think
seems,
that's a thing?
bro, doesn't it seem very coincidental with the times?
No, no. What?
Just saying.
Please explain to me how Bull having fucking seizures and depression has any ties to a train derailment in Ohio.
So the train derails, right? Fucking catches on fire. Fucking big fucking money fucking train CEO comes over and tells fucking, yo, Fetterman, I need you to go chill out for a little while, lay low for a little bit. Don't let people be asking you questions on, like, what's gonna be, what might happen over here. What if we start getting cancer and shit like that? If they can't ask you questions because you're off in a hospital, and now we make it seem like people feel bad for you, then it'll all just blow over. We'll just tell everybody that we got it all cleaned up and that things are going right. And you can reconvene after about 2 weeks. You know, you come out, you say mental health is good now. We're all good. Stroke thing was a scare, but we're good. And then everybody just starts getting cancer and everything's good. Because you think that if he was in front of a panel of people asking him questions and he's like, do you think that he wouldn't be able to fucking slip up?
He's not the guy that would be doing that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Governor Tom Wolf would be, but like
right. So like Fetterman, his only thing is fighting in Washington D.C. when it comes to like
Senate bill stuff,
right? And like where does money? So like he's not.
Yeah, I mean it's no place. It's not really his place to answer. But I'm sure some news outlet person or like some journalist is going to be like, let's answer. Let's pick his brain for a little bit. You know, he is a politician for the state, and he's from that side of the state and stuff like that. I just seems really fucking weird, man. It's fucking weird.
I don't know.
And also, can we also talk about the fact that this dude went and fucking checked in for depression? Like, what kind of pussy shit are we fucking running here? How can we be the world's biggest country and then you're going to have fucking people over in other countries knowing that like our leaders are be like, oh, they're feeling sad, so they have to go check into because they got depression and shit like that. No. You're supposed to be like the bones of the fucking country, man. You got to be fucking strong. You can't be fucking over there sad.
No.
What do you mean? We're supposed to be big, bad America. And now you're going to be like, oh, I'm saying today I woke up and I got bad thoughts.
Yeah, no, I fully support
mental health issues.
Especially men's mental health.
I am totally for people if they feel sad jumping in front of trains. I find that to be natural selection.
Fully about people and being more in touch with their emotions.
Feminine side. You want them in touch with their feminine side?
No, just like just the stigma of like boys are tough, whatever, just bodily emotions, get over it. Like no, like that's not fucking healthy.
Yeah, for normal people, like everyday Joe, I feel like that's the thing. But for a guy that's voting on issues that affect the country, I don't want to know that you wake up and feel sad in the morning. I want you to have the game face on, and I need you to do your job.
I'd rather you go get your help versus fucking, Fetterman's dead, and now we got to figure out what else to fucking do.
I mean, he could have a stroke at any moment and be dead.
I mean, sure, anybody could, but that's just the risk of anybody in life.
I'd rather him get caught fucking doing coke and blowing coke bubbles out of dudes' asses in motels than find out you've been sad. 100%.
No, you're crazy.
No.
You're crazy.
I'm just saying. What fuck? I mean, maybe call me a boomer. Call me old fashioned.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I just find it fucking wild, bro. Like, just take a fucking Xanax, like fucking everybody else. All right.
He might. Maybe he can't because of the fucking heart
stroke.
Yeah, but stroke meds are. I don't know. Maybe they're not working.
Then maybe he shouldn't have been in the Senate. Maybe he shouldn't have been in the public eye.
He's not in the public eye. We don't see Fetterman. That's what I'm saying. He's Congress. You don't see Congress people and Senate people. Like you couldn't tell me, like, unless they're like people that are trying to eventually become president and like making names for them, you have no idea who more than half of these people are for any state.
Yeah, 100%.
So he's good. Like that's the position you want to be in for a politician, because you're essentially fucking nameless and faceless, except for
for the people that need you to be their face, like the people like that are trying to move you to vote the ways that they would help them on certain topics.
If it wasn't for Dr. Oz going against Fetterman, I would have had no.
Why do we let these things come down to these fucking decisions as well? Like, how does it come down to Dr. Oz, the TV guy that lives over in Jersey?
Because people voted. Like that's what
I don't understand. Like that's another thing. Like I feel
you should have got out
like
and voted. That's how that goes, Buck. There's people going to be watching.
Nobody let me know that this was happening.
Go out. You got to be up on the local. People tell you all the time. If you want change, you should really pay attention to your local voting. You should.
Yeah, 100%.
You didn't want Oz and
I just feel like it's just like these are the options they get put up there. Like it was a little fishy, man. I mean, granted, I understand that nobody wants to take that job. I mean, if you're smart, you can get into the private business and make the oodles of money. So, but like, it just seems strange to me that like we have corpse Biden and then we have fucking window licking dude versus TV host fucking running for Senate. And I don't know, governor goes up next year. So who knows what that fucking shit show of events will be. So
you gotta start paying attention to your local politics. You'll know who's running to try to be the next Tom Wolf. See what their policies are. Get out there, start telling people, oh, go vote this guy. He supports, killing.
Yes, go vote
meadows.
my puppet in. Which is pretty much the way I feel like that's how it's going.
That's how it's going to be. I mean, that's how it usually go, but
I feel like the puppets just used to be better quality puppets, though. That's all I'm saying. Why did we have shit quality puppets? Like, I don't care if like you are the puppet of who's better what.
I don't know. You said you wish you had better. Who was better back in the day?
Oh, I don't know. Not fucking. You don't have TV host versus guy who had a stroke. Like,
you don't know who we had back in the day, though. Like that.
I can go through Wikipedia, though.
Oh, there now you can.
Yeah,
but like what I'm saying is like you didn't care then.
Well, so you didn't know too much about people's fucking personal lives back then either.
Sure,
there was a business life and personal life.
No, when was the last time that this was up? It was like 3-4 years ago.
What are you talking about? For Senate?
Yeah,
that just happened.
I know. I'm saying when was the last time? It was like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. It's like every. I think it might be every 2 years. But like also at the same time, you're talking
just as popping 2 years ago.
Yeah, maybe that's now since in the public eye and like we got
you
fucking
just didn't care 2 years ago.
Possibly.
Back up. It just so happened. That's what I'm saying. I think I never cared about this. Would have never cared if it wasn't for Dr. Oz, who I knew of, and Fetterman because he had a stroke and there was all this controversy. If it wasn't either of those two, I'd have kept on living life. Some fucko named whatever would have been elected, wouldn't have gave a fuck. I probably wouldn't have seen the article and I'd have lived my life. But it was these two. So who cares? Who cares? He ain't gonna do shit.
Nothing's gonna get done except fucking
noticeably gonna change for us.
It will change for us. It'll just get worse. So
but could you blame it on him or could you blame
No, you blame it on the people who are at the top. So you blame it the people who are smart and are using it all to their advantage so they get higher and make more money.
You Trump Biden?
No, not them. It's the people that are behind the curtains that are pulling the fucking strings.
Wow.
People running fucking the big company, big pharma company, big fucking train, oil money, all that type of shit. Fracking people, fucking BP, all that types of shit. Like those are the people. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm feeling like the fucking. I'm feeling like the people that are pulling the strings are doing this crazy shit, like trains getting derailed, fucking chicken places burning down, formula places getting contaminated. Like I feel like this has all been it's all crazy setup. Like, and I would always see fucking random videos like, okay, they're complaining about the ports not being open, so we can't get the shipping and receiving of goods. Then I would see a video of a guy working at the port. He's sitting there doing literally nothing because there's no fucking shit to unpack. There's no boats because the boats are all sitting out in the water. They're just sitting there. I saw a video today of a dude in a train sitting. The train was parked on the track because there was a fucking single railroad that there was another train that was fucking 80 miles away needs to come down this track and it's the only track. So this train is going to be delayed by however long. It was already delayed by like 47 days or some shit like that. Needing like tires and all the infrastructure bullshit that everybody's complaining about. But this thing's sitting here not moving because like things aren't optimized. And like you had all these people like, oh yeah, we're gonna open the ports now on the weekend. They're gonna work 24/7. And most of the time, these people were literally just sitting there twiddling their thumbs, waiting for the next boat to come in or waiting for clearance from fucking this and that. So like, it was like a bunch of performative shit to try and help to make us believe that like, oh, this is the problem with the supply chains and shit. But like, they couldn't run any faster because you couldn't get the shit to come in fast enough. So, and then you're going to have the problems of like, oh, the chicken farm that like there was a bird flu. So now we got to throw away all these eggs. And then this one chicken farm is this also now going to conveniently burn down. It just
now
seems fucking coincidental to me.
Do you not also place it to COVID related stuff as in like
at the beginning, yes, but now we're 3 years into COVID and
but still,
everything is still fucked.
Right, because we're still dealing with the COVID shortness. Everybody's hiring. So with everybody hiring, that means you're short staffed. So if you are the largest fucking chicken facility, whatever, you're short staffed. And then you're hiring just fucking rookies. Rookies make mistakes. So to say that it couldn't just be a coincidence because you hired some retard from Indiana, I don't know where this fucking place is, and he tripped and fucking put water on it, very well could happen. But I just know everybody's short staffed because of COVID still. So like, all right, ports. Well, yeah, I mean, sure, there's boats, but we're short staffed and we only have 4 people here.
Yeah, well, if the problem is if you need 60 people, but you're only trying to pay those 60 people that like wage that you had before,
we're in a recession. It's hard. What do you like? That's where if the economy isn't giving me the money to pay the employees, what can I do as the employer? Where do I get the money from? If the government's saying, stocks are down, everything, like how do I pay you more?
Well, I mean, you're also still we're in a recession, but like all the still private companies and stuff, they're still making record breaking fucking profits. So because they don't have as many people to payroll and stuff, they're still breaking records and profits. So you can afford to fucking pay the people more. Like, all right, so here's another fucking here. Yes, you can. So here's another fucking.
You could, but
yeah, they don't want to because then it would be cutting into their record-breaking profits. So,
right, like, that's what I'm about. Is if I'm the CEO, if I'm on the board,
yes, because you get a yacht at the end of the year because you broke your profits, so you get a huge bonus.
That's like my job. Like, I get it from my job when they like, we cracking numbers, and it's like.
But then you also just said last week everybody's bitching about not getting a raise.
Right.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Right. I get both sides. I can understand.
You can understand being the yacht guy, and now you're putting your business at risk because everybody might walk out. All the little people might walk out because you're not going to give them a 50-cent raise, and it might cost you $150K at the end of the year. When you're making fucking you're about to buy a fucking $50 million yacht to chill out in the Mar-a-Lago.
Think about this though, from the board perspective, I'm making record amount of money with less amount of people. Sure, I'm saving money because I'm not paying all these other people's all this other nonsense, but just profits alone, we are making more money on our product, putting out more product at record numbers with less people. Why would I hire more people? Because I got slaving are already working twice as hard for the 50 with no 50 cents less.
Yeah, and you want to know why? Because it's an unsustainable fucking model. You can't do that because if the people at the bottom riot and don't do the work that required of the people at the bottom, then you're not going to make the record profits. So you're gonna fucking get it for right now. But then, like,
Mm-mm.
2 years from now, when everybody at the fucking jobs are fucking walking out, and like they had the same shit at the trains, everybody went on strike because they
Mm-hmm.
weren't fucking getting off on the weekends, or they couldn't put in their time off or sick time or whatever the fuck it was. So, and then they just they ended up hiring new people, and now you got fucking 3 or 4 trains derailing a week. You're losing money on all this profit. Now you're gonna have to fix all this shit. You lost a fucking train. How much money does that fucking cost? Like, the fucking model doesn't work. If you don't keep the fucking very bottom of it, like fucking give them pizza every goddamn week. I'm making record profits. I'm gonna have a fucking super yacht that I'm gonna be fucking chilling with bitches out in fucking Italy. I think I could throw a little fucking bone to the little people before fucking screwing them, before they start screwing me, and then I gotta talk to the board and I have to step down because, now we're in the fucking red for the year. We were record breaking profits for the last 2-3 years, and then now everything is just
See,
tanked.
but as the company though, you can use the recession or the looming recession as a reason to be like, hey, we can't afford to hire more and give you niggas more just in case this recession really hit and we really hit a lull and we might have to lay niggas. You know what I mean? Like you could really spin that kind of like how my job's spinning it with the with the recession. We can't really, they gotta put aside. I can kind of understand, but I don't get it because you niggas is fucking rich. I think you can, but again, I get it. Like, just in case shit really does come to like a fucking, especially for like my business is for the endless pools. It's a niche thing. I feel like so. Like, yeah, 100%. That shit could come to a fucking halt real fucking quick. So like, yeah, you
Yeah,
just
100%. And then, man, the real, I feel like the real thing is to it is like you're gonna figure out what's gonna give first. Like, as the billionaire or like the higher up company, you're making oodles of money. You're stashing it away, so that way, like, when the little people try to put the screws to you, you just kind of wait them out because they're gonna need the money more than you're gonna need the money, because
right,
they're gonna have to fucking pay their bills because the prices of everything else is now going up.
right.
So like, you eventually going to run out of fucking money. You're not going to be able to afford to not work. So you're going to have to be. It's just going to make you into the slave labor because you have to keep paying these bills. You have to keep
Mm-hmm.
doing this fucking shit. But I mean, I don't know. It just seems fucking. It just seems like a fucking wild fucking model to me.
It is,
Like, it really just feels
but
like it's turning into China, where it's just like, okay, well, you had sweatshops making iPhones for 5 cents a day because they had nothing else and that's all they could do. So, I mean,
that's how
either way,
it's
I had a
always
point
been.
about it,
Now
but like, I forget what it
that's just how
is.
free market capitalism, man.
I just do find it convenient that like all these things do be happening all at the same time, and then I see like, oh well, we gotta up the infrastructure and we gotta get these things moving. We're gonna make it so these trains are moving all the time, 24/7. Everybody on the clock. We need these fucking stores open. We need McDonald's open all the time. But
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I feel like that should just go towards like the automation. So like, and then you would probably
Which it
fix a lot of
will.
your bottom end problems. So, but if
It
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 was with automation, there should be like more luxuries for that. Like like not Burger King, but like there's maybe it was Arby's or something. Some fast food chain over in fucking somewhere in the middle of the U.S. has been doing automated fry cooks and automated fucking like burger cookers. So
okay.
it's called Flippy. It's this little robot that just goes in there, boop boop, flips the burgers, boop 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 boop. But like, okay, I'm totally down with this. Get rid of people that work in these fucking jobs, like that you're only willing to pay fucking $15 an hour. I'm totally cool with that. Make every fucking restaurant 24/7.
Now you want to get rid of people's jobs. Then what? What do these people do for income if they're just since they're no skilled
No, that's
and
going to
low
be
skill?
that is pretty much eventually it'll end up leading into that universal basic income bullshit. So But it would also force people to then you have to go learn skills. You have to
But what
do
if I'm
something,
too
make
old?
value.
What if
Okay.
I'm what if I'm disabled and
Well, that you're on a
he's
set
standing?
income anyways. You're already on a universal basic income because you're
No,
either
I
if you're
mean
on disability, you have a set income. Like,
no, I'm saying like what if I'm like old? Like okay, so like I have a coworker, call him Little Mike because he's shorter than Mike Brennan, which is crazy because Mike's already short. No, so
that's
he he's old and like he's going to work until he dies. Like he doesn't have a choice financially.
mm-hmm.
He's not on an assistance or anything. Like he's here all this. So like what if his job was automated and he doesn't do a lot now because he's so old. He's had multiple back surgeries, hip surgery, neck surgery. He does like the lightest work in the area prop shop. So what would he be able to do if
There's always going to
his
be
job?
like grunt maintenance kind of work, kind of shit like that.
But he don't know nothing, can't do nothing. Like he can, like he do the light work. So like he makes coil wires in the coils and like strips wires real quick, like things like that. He puts nuts in bags.
What's going to happen to him? He's going to have to figure it out. That's the way that they're going to look
He's
at it.
gonna have to
He's
figure
going to
it
have to
out.
figure it out. That's what they're going to look at. Because like if you're looking at an animated machine, okay, now guess what? The animated machine that you're paying $30,000 up front, maybe $50,000 to $60,000 up front. Guess what? You don't have to pay it extra for holidays. It's always going to come in. It's always going to it's going to do what you ask it to do with no questions asked. And like that's another thing why I think like if you're going to do that, shit needs to be open 24/7. If you have a fucking team of fucking machines making like burgers and fries, there is no reason why that motherfucker can't be flipping and frying at 3 a.m.
100%.
So that's what I'm saying. There needs to be the luxuries in it. So like if
Now,
there's a team of fucking if there's a Burger King that's got a fucking flippy in there flipping patties, I need that bitch on 24/7.
now, with that though, you do need a person there at all times.
Yeah, you hire two people, you pay the
So I, th- I could be wrong, but I thought the reasons they stopped making things 24 hours was for like a safety of like robberies and stuff like that. Because they would happen like 2, 3, 4 in the morning at the drive through. Like I thought that was the thing. So like, why would me having robots here versus 4 people, 5 people in the whole thing make me feel more safe and want them to open 24 hours?
because who's it gonna rob? The robot?
No, but the register, which is what they rob always. I want the money. Give
Yeah,
me
but
all the money. So
what
like,
you just phase out cash, which is what they've been doing for years. So like everything's boop your card, boop your phone, boop your watch.
nah, it's an option,
It
but
is an option, which
I don't think you would make. See, I don't think you would, and it's
but they already tested it
but
out. Don't you remember during like the pandemic when there was a coin shortage? So there was like it was exact change only. So like they've already
okay.
kind of tested it, sorta. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
I never
you can't buy it
went
with
through that
cash unless you have exact change because I can't give you change back because there's a coin shortage. How the fuck you run out of coins, bro? Where'd the coins
because
go?
because there's not enough people
Get the fuck
working.
out of here, bro. There's always been coins.
There's not enough people working. That was the problem. You had to have social distance. Not so many people in a building, all that bullshit, which slowed production down of things.
Yeah, people were still getting paid and people were still fucking, well, people weren't working. So, like, but like, how many fucking grandpas and grandmas do you know that just had a fucking milk jug full of fucking coins?
Sure, but they're not donating that and getting that cashed in.
Exactly. But at the same time, there was always some motherfucker going in there stealing one of those things, taking some coins and fucking having to cash it at a coin star once a fucking week because they got to pay the fucking bills, scrounging through the fucking
But even then,
couch cushions.
that's got to get sent someplace. They got to count it. They got to fucking make
They
sure.
have
Like,
machines for that. They have a machine that does all of that. And now you're telling me, oh, well, apparently this week we got less coins. There's a coin shortage. So we can't now pay you. You can't use cash here to pay for your
yeah.
shit because we can't pay you back in exact change.
Also, if it's to a recycle thing, you have less people out because you say, hey, nobody's allowed outside. So now you have less people spending money, which gives you less money in the recycling system, plus the shortage of people in the recycling system,
But then they
which
gave
lets them
everybody
think.
fucking boop card money. Everybody got a
Boop.
check that went to a bank account. Nobody went and got that shit straight cashed, and nobody got that shit back in coins. I 100% believe that nobody took that $1,200 check and was like, yo, let me get these in Susan B. Anthony's.
What? No.
Nobody was like, yo, let me get these JFK's.
No, but I'm saying you got the check. The niggas was like, yo, stay inside. So
Yeah, so
like
then they
a
booped
lot
their
of
fucking shit and spent that shit on Amazon. Now you're going to
yeah,
tell me, yo, the coins, now we got less coins now. Where'd all the
yeah.
coins go? Nobody was out here spending money for 2 weeks.
No. What I'm saying, if it's on a recycling system too, like a Coinstar, or even when when the Brinks truck pulls up to a Wawa and takes all of their change, like that physical change has to be brought back to that Wawa at some point. But if there's less change in the world being put out because everything is digital and because everybody's on quarantine, then yeah, I'm gonna have less coins because there's less
For like a
people out.
week.
I don't know.
There
I
was
don't
like
know
a
how the
coin
coins
shortage for
thing
like
is.
half a year, bro.
I
It's
don't know,
nuts.
fam. I
Yeah,
I
it's a
never dealt
weird
with it.
conundrum that that arose. It was just that was another thing that added to the conundrum. We got trains, we got chicken farms, we got baby shortage. There was a coin shortage. There was a fucking coin shortage, bro.
And you think that's
Seems really coincidental, right? Seems like the Illuminati is really
not
coming for us,
really.
bro. I'm
How
telling you
so?
right now. Fucking
Okay, how
fucking
does
nuts
that?
out here.
What would be the end goal? How does that all like what? All right, this is all as a twin
Just fucking
conspiracy
raise the
to
prices
what?
on everything, man. I'm just telling you, make the
Why
inflation
wouldn't they
go
just?
high, make everything just go up.
But they could just do that anyway. Like you don't need to derail trains, make coin. You could just.
Makes it a lot easier though. Makes it a lot easier for
Does
fucking
it?
the guy in Indiana that's fucking pissed about having to pay $8 for eggs to have to come to the realization and be like, well, yeah, these things have happened. These things have happened. Yeah, I guess it's okay. I can pay $8
And
a
that boy
fucking
in
gallon of
Indiana
gas. And
missing half of his teeth in his mouth. He has no idea about a market or anything like that. He's just blaming Biden for everything.
yeah,
That's it.
exactly. But like, it makes it a whole lot easier to accept that it was like, oh, well, yeah, it's all because of Biden. Biden did this. Instead
Yeah,
of
that's
like,
crazy.
okay, like, yeah, they've been planning on this and making it all run up.
Yeah,
I'm
because
telling
that's
you, bro.
logical.
Telling you, the fucking triangle, bro. I'm telling you, the fucking triangle.
Ay, ay, ay.
My
And
conspiracy brain has
the
just been
war
fucking
doesn't have
smashed,
anything to
bro.
do with it, right?
That's
Like
another thing. That's
us sending
another
supplies
thing.
to Ukraine. That's
Another fucking coincidental war needs to be started. Now you know what? Did you know that Ukraine is one of the world's biggest producers of grain?
I did.
Yeah. Did you know it before the war?
Uh, at one point, yes, because I was a big fan of Ukraine because of
You
the
were a big
game
fan of
Risk.
Ukrainian grain?
No.
Like, I
Wait,
love my Ukrainian muffins, bro.
no, I was a fan of Ukraine because of the game Risk. I think it might have been Risk. It was a war strategy game, but I always like to pick Ukraine because once I started with Ukraine, it
You got
gave
the
me
grain.
access
You got that grain
to
fucking boost.
well, no, it gave me access to Europe and everything, and it's usually just how I want. It's a strategic thing because I was fascinated with Ukraine. So, like, I know I did a couple projects on Ukraine. So I probably did as a child know that because I knew a lot of things. I also had a weird fascination with Oklahoma. I did a couple class projects on the state of Oklahoma. Don't know why. I think it might have been because a lot of
I
mob
want to say
bosses were
that
like
you want to know why I think
massacring
you have
there.
a fucking fascination with Oklahoma
Why?
and Ukraine. I think it was I think you were getting hinted onto by this Ukrainian, or not Ukrainian, this Illuminati shit that was coming in the future.
Jesus fucking
I
Christ.
think that you knew that this was going to happen. And you just were reading the
Yes.
fucking signals and was like, this is weird.
Oklahoma.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, bro. Wasn't that where the Chinese spy balloon was?
No.
I think so. What are they doing out in
Oh,
Wyoming? Where are the nukes at? Seems super
Wyoming is
weird.
not really. There's nukes everywhere here.
No, there's a lot.
There's
I don't
one
know.
like down the street. Well, not for me anymore, but
Yeah.
kind of.
Probably. I mean, I know. I'll there's that does bring up weird fucking stories that like
No,
I'll
there is like
always
a missile silo like near media though.
that's dope. I
Yeah,
don't know
it's
where it's
in
at, but
Delco. Yeah, I forget. You can look it up. But
go
anyway,
tag that bitch, Delco missile.
what were you gonna
That'd be
say?
fucking fire. But there was one time where I was in county jail. I had a, like one of the little fucking radio, the little clear joint, and I
Mm,
used to be listening to that joint when I was working out. And then somehow I found like the NPR radio. So I was bored and fucking flipping through it, and they were talking about like they were like, "Hey, we're gonna take you on a tour of one of these missile silos that's been nicknamed Super Mario World." So yeah, and they started going through and like they start talking about this missile silo where you have these two guys that are in the military that are on fucking or maybe there's two guys always at on time and then they do a shift change. So like
mm,
there's I think four guys in total. There's always two guys that are down in this nuclear missile silo bunker, pretty much because they're all underground. But like he goes to this nondescript building in the middle of fucking nowhere. They go. There's like a fucking super like it's just a bunch of graffiti like on the building. It's a
uh-huh.
nondescript building and like it's like a Super Mario is fucking on the fucking elevator door, and then the door opens up. It looks like it's like a fucking closet. Granted, I'm not. I'm like just rebuttaling what I was hearing, and they were describing it on the radio station. So the doors open up. It looks like it's like a fucking normal closet, and then it opens up, and now you're in an elevator. You
Hmm.
take the door closes, takes you down this fucking elevator, like 40, 50 stories into the earth.
Wait, where is this at?
I don't know. It's somewhere that I want
Okay.
to say it's one of these super fucking high tech military fucking missile silos somewhere. It's probably out in the middle of nowhere, like Wyoming, Nevada, fucking Oklahoma,
Because
someplace.
as you're describing this, it looks like this missile silo I'm looking at that's for sale.
And that fucking convenient. Um, so, but like you go down the elevator and the shaft, and then like as you're riding it down, it's more graffitied like Super Mario themed stuff, like the mushroom, the coin, star, and then you get down to this fucking like they talk about how the person who's like doing shift change, they usually bring down like a bunch of DVDs and magazines and shit. Because all they do is just sit there and listen on a radio to hear a signal, but like, yo, hit this button, fucking send that shit somewhere, put in these coordinates and send that shit. So like these two guys are just constantly on shift. They switch out like every week, I think, and then the whole time they just chill and sit in this missile silo that was dubbed fucking Super
Interesting.
Mario World. Like, and then they just watch fucking DVDs down there because you have no signal on your phone, so you can't stream anything. So super weird though. This is just like it's something that's just always that I just held on to after just I guess listening in my bunk one night, listening to that shit on NPR radio. I was like, this is fucking wild. Just have fucking nuclear missile silos in the middle of fucking nowhere that are just they just look like they're in a fucking video game. Like
Yeah, that's pretty
that's
dope.
dope, but like weird. Yeah, man. You fucking Illuminati, bro. I'm telling you. Fucking people.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. Fucking puppet
yeah.
masters are fucking pulling the strings, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling
Masters of puppets, they are. I tell you what, or I guess you're telling me. Apparently, yeah. I don't know, fam. It's kind of far fetched on me one.
you. Just lining up, man.
Is it?
Evergrande, fucking
That was
trains.
2 years ago.
Exactly. And ever since, there's just been coincidentally things that just tend to happen. Just saying. Just fucking saying. But
I
also
don't
in other
even.
news,
But
Twitter's been getting fucking heated.
again,
With yeah, more with the Hogwarts shit.
oh
So since last week, you know how they had all the people that were boycotting the game and all that nonsense and stuff. And then people since the game came out, you know, relatively last Friday. So then people started streaming it, right?
Yeah.
So then you had the people that were fucking on Twitter going to people's streams and then harassing everybody and causing people to fucking cry and be like, me, people are being mean to me on the internet. So people apparently now, J.K. Rowling is now coming at Twitter people and suing them now
Hmm.
because of the defamation and calling herself an well with people calling her a Nazi and a transphobe and all that shit. So that's exciting that all these fucking blue hair people are fucking getting scared because they're getting letters in the mail from J.K. Rowling's legal team saying like, "Yo, you better take that shit down, or you better stand behind those fucking words and get some money out your pocket to pay for a lawyer because you're gonna be paying."
Yeah. Didn't somebody die over that game already?
I haven't heard anything about that, but I'm, I wouldn't be super surprised.
I swear I saw
So
something about a kid got beat up or something, and they were blaming it on her in the game or something. I don't know.
I feel like I did hear that story. I hear that there was like some sort of fucking aggressive fucking shit because of that. But then also, like the whole thing with her being a Nazi is, I feel like the argument for that is super like invalid. Like the whole reason that she gets called a Nazi is because the goblins in the book and in the movie have Jewish or are built upon Jewish tropes, right? So like they say that like, oh, the stereotypes of Jewish people from back in the day, they line up with the fact that the goblins are greedy and they want all the money and they have hook noses and stuff. But like nowhere ever did J.K. Rowling come out and say like, yes, I based the goblins off of Jews.
well, no, that would be career suicide.
Yeah, but like the
That
fact
would be a correct labeling of a Nazi. Then I mean, not
it
correct, but
it
that
would
would
be,
be
but at
pretty
the same
treason.
time, as a person who's creating a fantasy land, what are goblins if not loot goblins, greedy loot people? Why wouldn't the goblins be running a bank? Like, and your depiction of a goblin has nothing to do. Like, it might be coincidental that like they had hook noses, but like
It's funny.
that's how you picture. Like, that's how goblins are depicted. So, like,
Not
if
necessarily, but now that you say it, whoo, I love it. I think I'll agree with the people that are like, yeah, nah, yeah, that's a Jew. Because now that I think about some
But the
of them,
fact that you were thinking you were watching it and you see the goblins, you're like, yo, they're running all the money and they got hook noses. The fact that you are then attributing the goblin to the Jew makes it that you were the problem of the thing, like of the thought process. That's like looking at the orcs of the Lord of the Rings and being like, oh, they all have like wide noses and they all have darkened skin. So they're all based off black people,
I
which
mean,
that is now the running trope. Like,
I
oh,
was gonna say
well,
you could make that
that
argument.
is the argument. But like at the
Okay.
same time,
Like-
if you're watching the movie and then you're seeing it like that, are you not the one that's racist and or not or yeah or
Depends who's seeing it, I guess. If a black person saw it, I don't necessarily know if I would call them racist for noticing it. Just because like growing up, like we've just always been prone to like look at shit sideways and be like, oh yo, not everything that we see is what it seems. So sometimes we do read shit in a little bit like, hey,
but then
that
you're putting
could
a
be
hidden yeah, I understand that, but then you're also putting the hidden agenda behind something that might not have had a hidden agenda to begin with.
right, and that's why you say you think to yourself, oh, it could be or whatever, and then you ask a couple other people, hey, how what you think about this, and then you can kind of probably see, and then also look back into the person's prior work and that'll also give you a little possible hint of
Yeah, but if the person that's doing it is depicting it off of the fantasy creature, like, and that's like, granted,
you can make a goblin not. That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking back to her Johns. I could make that. I can see how niggas, because I've seen goblins that don't look like that. A bunch of times. Like she didn't have to make them look like that. And there's one I'm thinking specifically, 100% Jew. 100% Jew. Like, there's one that's my 100% Jew. Like, so that's why I'm like, yeah, no, that might be. But even if that's like, it could just be all right, fine. She's going off the stereotype.
Yeah, but unless
So
you
what?
like, unless like she was the person that was to come out and say that, like, hey, like, I want this. I wanted, like, during the making of the Harry Potter movies, I wanted to, like, I told costume and makeup to make it look as Jew as possible.
No,
Then,
of
like,
course not.
but that is the, like, that's where you would get the anti-Semitic, like, stuff. You can make goblins not look, I guess, Jewy, but at the
Right,
same time, at the time of you're creating the thing, you're not making them Jewy. Like, you're putting a hidden agenda behind her of making the goblins
now,
look the way they do, because you're like, oh well, see, and that's the conspiracy brain part of it. Being like, oh, do you see that? Do you see the Jews behind the counter counting the gold? Like, no, those are goblins. Those are just
do you think you're
normal
just
looking
giving
goblins.
her the giving her the benefit of the doubt on the other side? Like, oh, you guys are just jumping to the. Well, hold on. She very well may have could have done that on purpose.
Yeah, but unless you can create proof to find that, like, that's why she did it, you can't just be like, oh, she's anti-Semitic. Like,
Well,
there's a
no, but that's
kid
why
that's on TikTok, right? Well, he's not on TikTok anymore, but like, he would dress, he had Hitler's haircut. He would wear this nose ring that made him look like he had Hitler's mustache. He was 100% a Nazi. He was totally down with wearing the fucking, the iron bird on his fucking shit, and swastikas. So, like,
But you go back to their prior work. You could probably see a couple things, maybe especially in today. You could maybe see a couple tweets where you're like, oh, you liked that tweet or something. Eye raising. Oh, Kanye said Jews are pieces of shit. Oh, you support. Those are the things, and then you can make a connection to. Oh, you know what? She did do that back in 2001. That was a little.
okay, then show me that. Show me the
I'm
line
just
of
saying,
shit
like
the
that's
JK Rowley was liking of these tweets of being like, yeah, fuck the Jews. And then now we can, like, maybe connect or have the conversation of being like, yeah, she totally made the goblins and Harry Potter look like Jews, just to fucking hidden
like
agenda behind the fucking in doing through the movie
like you know
to just add the anti-Semitic trope to it.
uh like Stephen King, for example, like he got called out because a couple of his shits was racist and like bigoted and shit like that. And of course he came out whatever, but then you look at the track record of some of the movies and you're like, oh yeah, you did, yo, that was drawn. Like, you did had niggas do this or whatever, whatever. And then like Walt Disney, like there's plenty of hidden little messages of how Disney felt, to where Disney, the company now, was like, hey, yeah, we fucked up. Sorry, we let that one slide. Like, this was, you know what I mean? Like, it happened. Like, so to say that she couldn't or didn't, directors do it all the time. Like, they easily can throw that. Like, that's the thing. They're creating this thing. So you can easily throw in a little, that's supposed to be that. And I, as the creator, know what that is. And that could be my own little, some, if niggas pick up on that, lit. But at least I know I'm taking a shot at those fucking Jews.
Yeah, but the problem is that, like, you're taking that shot, making it with an inside joke that nobody will be able to pinpoint onto you, like, later down the line. Like, yeah, somebody could, like,
That's what makes it beautiful, because I could easily come out and say, nah, but I could, if I wanted to, I could easily also come out with nothing and let you fuckers just speculate. But I could easily come out and be like, no, I didn't do that. Like, y'all are crazy. Y'all are just speculating. That's insane. Like, y'all are the racist one. But I could also just fucking let it ride and be like, this is funny. Because, like, um, who was it? Bert. He said with his movie, like, he threw little things in there that ideally, if you're a Two Bears fan, you'll understand and you'll pick up on. And if you don't, like, those are also like little things to himself. Like, so you can throw in things that are like, hey, my nigga, you gonna like this? Like we on the same group. Like if we make a movie, there's gonna be some things that like you're gonna pick up. Like, oh, yo, Jay, you threw that in there because of oh yeah, like you know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean? Like,
that's not the problem that's not the problem that I'm having now. It's like, granted, you can do those things, but like that is also for that certain audience. Like,
right.
but then you're also telling me that this little old lady from fucking the UK is
Mm-hmm.
doing this because she has a group of friends that like she's you're telling me this little old lady from the UK hates Jews?
Yes, because many people around the world hate you. Like, why is that such a crazy concept that
I don't
she
know. I
hates
just feel
Jews?
like the UK people
The
just,
rest
I
of
don't
the
understand why
world.
they would hate Jews that much. Don't understand why J.K. Rowling would have such a big problem with Jews that then she would be putting fucking and like why would J.K. not J.K. Who wrote fucking Lord of the Rings? Who did that?
Oh man, I should know this. Fuck.
All right.
George R. R. Martin.
Yeah, George R. R. Martin. So
No,
you're gonna
no.
no,
George R. R. Martin
that's Game
did
of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Yeah. Fuck.
What's his name? Hold on.
I don't remember. Damn, I'm sorry. I love Lord of the Rings too. Oh shit! Almost dropped this fucking blunt. I'm drawing. Damn, who was that bull?
J.R.R. Tolkien.
There you go.
So then you're telling me the J.R.R. Tolkien, then who has been dead since 1773. Made the orcs in the Lord of the Rings movie, made sure that it was like, yo, make sure that
Wait,
they have black people features.
no, but when you would say as the person writing it, he has a black person in mind, and to say that the guy back in 1700 or the 70s or whatever the fuck you said didn't have a racist mindset, you're fucking crazy. Uh, so that's all it takes. Like, and that might not even be a bad thing. Like he might have thought
Yeah,
about
which
it
is
in a
fine
good.
for the times, but it's also like it's like the speculation of being like you're the one it's all fantasy stuff. That's what it's coming down to. It might be you're making it based
Uh,
off of the anti-Semitic and or racist tropes.
that's
Like you're
not
not seeing it as what it
true.
is that it's all fantasy shit. It could be whatever.
But fantasy it comes from some reality. Like even if you think of a dragon or when dragons were thought of and made, like that came from a real animal like a snake or something, and then somebody
Dragons may have been
expound
real.
sure, could have been, but somebody expounded on this idea and made it to a creature or something. So to again, he might not have thought of the orc as a black person, but he was probably thinking, hey, big, strong. What's big? Oh yeah, he could have black person features and not could think, but in today's climate, you know what I mean? Like, hey, that in today's climate, niggas will say that's drawn and wrong. I don't necessarily think so. I mean, but
See, but then
um,
does that not come down to the person who's like directing and or like creating like the the
no, because
motion picture?
if I'm trying to make it to the book, and in the book they're supposed to have wide noses and broad shoulders and dark skin,
I mean, granted,
and
I don't
then
know because I never read Lord of the Rings, but I
right,
don't
I never
think
read
that
it,
that was in the description of the orc.
but let's just say it is like, but then you give me fucking skinny nose, skinny lipped, bird chested. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck is this? Like, this ain't what the book described the orcs. And I imagine you had to describe the orc because and books are very descriptive. Like they should paint a very vivid picture in your brain of what's going on. So I feel like the orcs were described in a multiple times in a vivid,
I
way.
don't know, but I feel like it would. I don't like. Granted, from
Because
I
you
don't.
got to think like the face paint, like what, like those features of like why make the teeth that way? Like that had to be like, I don't know. I never read the books. I can ask my dad who
Yeah, I
read the
didn't read
books.
the
My aunt
books of
read the books.
fucking of that either. I just brought up the comparison to make it close to
Yeah,
Harry Potter. So, but I mean, granted, though, if the way she feels about trans people, which that's another argument in itself.
like she is
Versus
a right wing conservative.
well, she's rich. She's a rich white lady that from the UK. I understand that she doesn't want to share a bathroom with a dude in a dress.
I mean, other
I
than
get
that,
it.
like even for like the hating Jew thing, like she is like, that's a big thing in Europe for one, is to be anti-Jew. especially if you're right winged, which
Yeah,
she
but
is.
also it's like, is it like her? Did she put the input onto making the characters look the way they did, or was it
I'm
more
sure she did.
directed? But
I'm sure
like,
she
could
did.
it have also been like director and or the people working in costume that were like, "Aha, we're doing this movie, but like we're also part of this fucking little group that we want to make this shit like kind of look this certain way. We're gonna do these certain things. We're gonna hook these noses a little bit. Maybe they were supposed to stick out a little bit." Um,
I do know she for the movies she did have input. Like she was
she might have
involved.
had input, but like, who knows if she's doing the fucking creative.
No, but I'm sure they're running things by her because I mean, what's the point of
But then you're
when
also
Lord of the Rings was being made, like they had Bull there, like he was there on set watching film, like they were
you talking
asking
about
him.
J.R.R. Tolkien?
Yeah,
No, he
no,
wasn't. That
no,
motherfucker been dead.
no, not that.
You talking
There
about
was
Game of
another one,
Thrones?
maybe I don't know, but maybe I
Because
do
he
get the
was
names
on set
confused.
throwing
Yeah,
and
okay, him.
I'm sure that like she was probably
Yes,
on
him.
set, but like if she's not, like she might be okay in the stuff, but if someone else is doing throwing the little trucking behind the scenes like inside joke in there, and then she just
Sure,
okays it because she was like, yeah, that kind of looks like that looks like a goblin. That's a fucking
sure, okay, yeah,
like
100%. That
so
could be it.
that's where my argument of like you're
But then
making.
why not come out and say that? What not say that, but why not just be like, "Hey, I'm not anti-Semitic. Y'all niggas is clapping."
But she's been saying that she's not anti-Semitic.
Has
That's
she?
what I'm saying.
I don't know.
I don't think she hasn't come out and said like, yeah, I wanted the goblin to look like Jews. That's what I'm saying. So like
Oh, okay.
the internet just takes it and runs with it, like, and like none of it is really like, and also it's one of those things that people looked at. You watch the movies, and then like 5 years later, someone else was watching the movie and then came up with this idea, of being like, I've watched this movie 10 times, and then this time I was like, I just came back from watching my fucking Schindler's List movie in the fucking history in my history class, and I just so happened to look and be like, that's weird. Those kind of look like they have vague similarities between the Nazi propaganda posters that I was looking at writing my paper for fucking my social studies class. So now I'm gonna write this little article comparing the goblins of Harry Potter to Jews of back posters back under the Nazis during the Nazi regime.
And it just so
So
happens to be a coincidence, like not like a coincidence, like that's a damn near good spot on coincidence.
it's also super coincidental that there's a fucking supply chain problem now that Evergrande is stuck in the Nile. See what I'm fucking saying here, bro? I'm telling you,
Oh
bro, it's a
fuck!
wild thing. There's a bird flu. Now a fucking chicken farm just burned down. That's fucking
Holy
crazy.
fuck! You know, I did see a video of it. Might have been two videos. Yeah, it was two. One guy doing some shit with eggs. Like he had a whole fuck ton of eggs, and he was like, "Got to get rid of these" or something like that. Because something about the shortage or something like that. Like he couldn't get them out because of a shortage, so he just had to like fucking dump them in this big pit or whatever. And there was a fuck ton of eggs.
That's what I'm
Uh,
saying, bro.
and then this other
That's
guy
what
had
I'm
like
saying.
I don't know if it was grain or wheat. I don't remember what it was, but he was saying the same thing essentially. Like, I got a fuck ton of it. It's gonna go bad. Like, I can't get it out. And he lit that whole fucking thing on fire.
Yeah,
I forget how
the
much he
bull
said
of
it
the fucking field.
was
He had a
worth.
fucking grain field or some shit like that, and they were like, "Oh, well, due to the shortage of like trucks or some shit like that, or can't move it, so the only thing I can do is just light it on fire." Like that's the only thing you can do
I
with the
mean,
grain.
yeah. How else? How else
I
are
don't
you gonna?
fucking know. Fucking stored in a silo. I mean, I don't
But
fucking
what if I don't have those capabilities? Like, those are like things that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure they could if they would, or like, that's not. That's also not my job. Like, I have my farm set up for it to be, for a truck to come pick it up every day, every other 2 days, or once a week, whatever. Like, I don't have something that's
100%, but
planned
it's
for a
better than you
2 week
just lighting the
storage.
shit on fire. I
I
mean, unless
guess,
the fucking
but
unless the government is still paying you for it, because like I would assume that you wouldn't want to get rid of that shit because that's your fucking money. That's what
but
you're
how
like.
else are you gonna get rid of? Like, what? Like, that's what I'm like. I don't know if you have a choice because unless you go try to, yeah, I'm not a farmer. I don't know what it's like. I don't know if you could just go buy silos. Like, I don't know if there's just a warehouse that's just like, oh yeah, we got them on stock. Like, well, fucking airlift it to your house and buy it tomorrow or in 3 days.
Yeah,
I,
I'm sure
I
that there
just
would be
don't
a
know.
huge problem. You'd have to like create like a pad or something. I'm thinking like for grain. Um, and that's not the only thing that I've seen like dumped. I've seen fucking trucks of milk getting dumped and like all
Yeah,
types
I've
of
seen
other
that.
shit
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
dumped. And they're like, oh, well, there's a shortage, but I'm dumping 50,000 gallons of this right now.
But where
Like,
can you store it?
well, for dry foods, I'm sure that you could quickly fucking like plow out a space and then just stick it there. I don't fucking know. I don't know.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying.
The
Like it's
logistics of it. We're not high enough up on the fucking supply chain side to see where the hiccup
well,
and then where the fucking tumble down the hill happened. I guess.
I just don't know anything about farm life versus, and like I feel like, again, to shortages, uh if it was a possibility to just be like, oh, I'll just hold it and get some, like, well, that's got to be made and that's got to be bought, and that place is probably short staffed and undermanned and everything. And good luck getting that silo in time for that grain or that milk or whatever to
Yeah,
not
it's just that
spoil.
perfect fucking storm.
Right. It's life. Like, it's just fucking life, man. I'm sure our parents went through a whole bunch of fucking struggles. Our great grandparents during the depression. I'm sure there was a bunch of crazy coincidences, and then shit happens. It's life. What are you gonna do?
I don't know, man.
I mean, you
Just
could always really try to go to Mars, start afresh.
yeah, but then you got to wait for the shipment of shit to come from Earth. Just so happens that that fucking space rocket blew up, or it had to
Oh yeah, you're
stop off at the
definitely
moon. Because it had to like fucking had to pay a speeding ticket.
you're
Got pulled
definitely
over.
gonna get shortages on like rocket parts.
Yeah.
That's 100%. And God forbid one of your parts breaks down in the middle of space. Oh, we gotta send a repair. Good luck. Hey, 7 years.
Mm-hmm. They just added another 10 years onto your Amazon package getting
Yeah.
back to you. So
Man, I
seems
can't wait for
fucking.
that day
I
when
live in.
Amazon can start flying through space. Can you imagine? Oh, I
I
can't
think
wait.
I'd be okay more with. I'm more okay with waiting for fucking drones to start delivering my packages.
I mean, yeah, sure. We're
I'm
past
waiting on
up
that
past
part.
that.
Yeah,
That
you're talking
happens
about.
already.
Yeah, I know, but it needs to be more frequent. I'm tired of seeing people on my Ring doorbell. I'd like
you
to see
just
a little
gotta
drone.
you gotta move to a place where they're more prone.
Yeah, but I feel like at the same point, like I've already had problems with Amazon people just not getting out of the truck and walking into the door and just flinging that shit like a frisbee out of the side of the truck. So I can only imagine the shit that a drone's just gonna drop a fucking box of
See,
fucking anything out of the sky on at my house.
I feel like if Eli was fucking smart, right, he would make. I don't necessarily know if he needs to make the drone, but at least a camera that he could sell to. I wouldn't even necessarily sell it to Bezos. I'd sell it to a competitor, but it's a camera that you attach to the drone that's like able to like scan the house and like know that this is the house, and like you don't have that fuck up of it. We dropped it off wherever. Like, it's going to drop it off at your front doorstep every fucking time because it's gonna somehow scan the property or whatever the fuck.
Well, I'm sure that
And
has to come down to the program of the drone itself, like the programming of the stuff, because they already have cameras on drones and stuff. But granted, I don't know how Amazon does their drone delivery packages. I don't know if they just put a GPS, like I just put a
yeah, that's all it is.
thing. I'm sure that is how it is, and like it's not as refined as like, oh, it scans and then like finds your front door and then drops it off there. And then like granted, Google Map, I don't like. I'm sure from just door dashing and Uber eating, Uber like the fucking Google Maps be fucking up too. Like
Yeah.
I fucking had to go do delivery the other not other day. It was like last week or so. But like this, my GPS using Google Maps tried to take me through a graveyard to get to this house. Like, and the graveyard was closed. It was gated off. So
Yeah.
like it was taking me someplace completely different from where this fucking front door of this house was. So
Yeah, it's
like,
not. It's definitely not the best. So yeah, that's what I would work on technology for that.
do you think electric cars is like a fad, and like you think they're just kind of like a
No,
phase?
because the government passed a bill to rule to make all cars on the road by 2036 electric.
Yeah, but then, like, I don't. I was watching a video like the other day, and they were talking about the chargers and shit like that. Like, I feel like there
Right.
should have been more. Like, granted, yeah, they did make it like outlaw cars. We're gonna make all cars electric by 2030 or 2040 or whatever the fuck 2050. Who knows? But like, one of the things I do find interesting is that they didn't come up with a regulated thing for the chargers of the cars.
What
So
do you
like
mean?
different manufacturers and different companies are making all these different chargers for these electric cars. Like Tesla
Mm,
has their own charger, they have their own superchargers. So and
right.
then if you want to go up to it with like if you want to go to any like a charge point station cuz like you know charging stations just aren't everywhere yet. You have to use like an adapter and shit. So like
Mm,
you have like the video was this early adopter of a EV car. He knows everything. He went out to go get some food from this mall or some shit like that, right? And
mm,
he's sitting there, parked his car, plugged this shit in, fucking left, or like was like walking away towards the mall. He gets flagged down by this lady that's fucking bought this EV car. She's not fucking technologically fucking literate. So she's like, "Hey, like, can you help me out here?" Like, and he's he's a nice YouTube dude, makes tons of money. Yeah, I'm all about technology. I can help you out. Yeah, I'm plugging in my car here on this fucking charger, and it's not charging my car. And then he's like, "Oh well, I mean, you have to use an adapter, so you gotta pop the trunk out of your car, and then fucking get the adapter to plug in your car." So, but the whole point of it is like, why would you then, if you're gonna make everybody have electric cars, why would you not, like gas pumps, regulate that all the chargers be the same? Like, I don't understand what the process of like then
mm.
privatizing and letting all these private companies make chargers and make their own plugs, where therefore you have to then fucking, and they're also not probably the easiest to use. Like, how many times do you see some person with an iPhone charger and they're fucking have that shit
Mm.
curled up like this to get it to charge?
Yeah,
So,
true.
like, that's what one of the things he was saying is like he went into the store, um, plugged that shit in, helped the lady. She was like, "Hey, it's not charging." Though I'm at a charge point. I'm just saying, she's at a charge point charger. She's driving a Tesla. The Tesla has like supercharging at the charging station. So, it's still not charging. Well, do you have a charge point account? No, I don't have a charge point account. Well, you have to either make an account or you can boop your card on this thing, and then it should charge. And walked into the mall, comes back out. He's got his food. Lady flags him down again. It's still not charging. I booped my card and it's still not charging. Come to find out that the fucking charger is like kind of fucked up, where you got to hold the fucking thing because it's not reading that it's plugged into the fucking car. So that's what I'm
Uh,
saying is like, why wouldn't you be regulating all of the chargers if you're going to make all the fucking electric cars to have to be on the road in 10 or 15 years? Why would you not make it like gas pumps where like, okay, well, if the gas pump part is broken, like the handle on the gas pump, you can just disconnect that bitch and then plug in a fucking new one. Why wouldn't you just make it so that way you can just take the cord out? Like, okay, your fucking cord, you got to fucking hold it upside down and fucking wiggle it so that way
maybe,
you can click it into the fucking car. Okay, let's make
maybe,
these quick and easy, and then, but like you also have the like entity, like everybody's got the same fucking cord. Everything's the same plug everywhere. So, like
but like maybe you can take that cord off and just replace it in a new one.
you
But
might
maybe
be
there's
able
a
to. I don't know
maybe there's a
exactly.
shortage. Maybe they got maybe they're on maybe like you know what I mean. I'm just saying like maybe like they're like
There
well we
might
don't want to
be
shut.
Jay. There might be a shortage of fucking cords, bro.
You know what I mean? Like it might be like, oh, we're waiting for one. It's gonna be 2 weeks, but you can. It still works. You
It's
just
on
gotta
the but
fucking
all the cords. You know where all the cords are? They're on the
download it.
Evergrande, and they're fucking stuck in the knot.
Jesus Christ! Fucking.
It's a whole
I don't
fucking
know.
circle, bro.
I don't know anything about old car like old original cars, but I imagine they all weren't the same in the very beginning, and then
Well,
eventually,
yeah, I mean, I think they
and then
all ran on like most of
eventually,
them ran on gas.
well,
But
no. but like yeah, but like I feel like the Ford gas tank was probably different than the whatever and the whatever what else was made, and I don't know anything about those fucking crank engine cars.
Yeah,
But
that could definitely be a thing. Maybe I'm totally just overthinking it, but like I
yeah,
feel
like
like
they're just so
learning from
new.
history's mistakes would be like, okay, well, when first cars came out, we had a bunch of people making gas pumps, and then like all the parts weren't interchangeable. We didn't regulate it. So like, why wouldn't someone that's sitting in the room be like, hey, so are we gonna make the same mistake of letting everybody privatize and make their own fuck shit, or are we gonna
Well,
come step in, make a regulation that everything is uniform, everything's same. That way, when we roll this shit out, it doesn't not work. So that way, everything
so
fucking works and you can plug in anything everywhere. Like, I don't understand how you don't.
so I mean, yeah, sure. You would think you would like to them to think about that, but also like probably like I don't know who was. I feel like Tesla was the first, if like first electric car. Who would have thought back then that now 2036 in the future we're going to be like, hey, everybody's got to be electric, and now Ford's pumping out electric cars and Chevy. Like I don't think anybody necessarily thought about that and how like what's future. Because I mean, you could even have the thought of like, hey, well, like electric cars, like this could be a thing. Do you want to start looking at how to make the electrical grid bigger to support
Yeah,
the
but why wouldn't
future?
you then also then take it from the person who's the person who's winning right now? Who's selling the most of these electric cars? Okay, it's Tesla. What does Tesla got for their charging shit? Okay, they have superchargers and they're doing like they have this plug. So why not just make all of these
Now,
coming forward vehicles have the same type of stuff, and then we're gonna make all of the fucking stations the same? That's
now,
my question. It's like, okay, well, we saw back in the day that the gas pumps and shit were all different. We were all running on leaded fuel, and then leaded fuel. Um, like, why make the mistake of old?
well,
That's just my question.
so now also to you say who's winning now, but you would have ideally liked to start the regulation before everybody else got on board, because now it's a little bit of a harder thing to try to be like, hey, now let's regulate like
But wouldn't you want
Ford's.
to make that part of the conversation of when you're trying to regulate, like, hey, we're gonna make all cars electric by this fucking date?
Sure, and
That's what I'm
and
wondering.
they
Why?
probably are. They probably working on that, but that doesn't need to come out today because that's not going to stop Tesla's car production today or Ford's. Like when that is happening, sure. Like when we have to, you'll have an answer. But right now, you don't need an answer for that. Like it's not important to your life. It's not going to change anything whether you have an answer today, tomorrow, or 10 years from now. But they're working on it, I'm sure. And also, like, I don't know anything about electric cars, like interior wise. But what's the difference between a Tesla and the Ford when it comes to the battery? So, like, Tesla has a supercharger. Why doesn't anybody else? Is that because of the battery and the technology? Because then that's going to be hard for Ford to do something if Tesla's doing something, and Tesla can do it because Elon. You know what I mean? Like I just don't know like how different these batteries are from one another, capabilities and any of that. So that
No,
might also
yeah,
run
I
into.
get that, but like, I mean, you're also talking like dealing with the thing with that is I
Also,
like,
who's paying for that? Like, what if Elon has a patent on his thing and is like, I need
but I'm
everybody to
pretty
just
sure
fucking.
Elon has also come out and said that he's totally willing to fucking share that information with other companies. If he was
I'm
like, no, nobody can else have this shit,
well.
then yeah,
Well,
I would
hold on.
totally understand.
I'm willing to give you information, sure, but I'm also gonna need everybody's wife to fuck me 6 times a day. Like I'm going to
I'm
need a
sure
lot of
that he
things.
wasn't going. He's a billion. He was the
No, no, no.
richest person on the planet at some point.
Right,
Well, public person on the
right.
planet. So,
So,
like,
okay. So think about how he took over Twitter. Right, like
I mean, he bought it.
he took that shit
He
over.
bought
Like
it.
but fam,
He
the
bought
way
it.
he Sure, he
for
bought it. The
$42
way,
billion. He bought
but
it.
all right, I'm saying the way he started it by buying this little share and by buying these little shares under the radar, and the next thing you know, hey, I am majority and I want to
That's
buy it.
not how that
Like
happened.
that's how it
No,
happened.
it's not.
Yes, it is.
He
That's
was
why
the
the
richest man on the
SEC
planet,
fined
and
him.
then he went on to he went on to Twitter and said, "Should I buy Twitter?" And everyone was like,
No,
"Yes, you buy Twitter."
no, that's way after. The SEC sued him when this very first began, way before this. And they looked in. Elon was buying shares of Twitter under the radar, and he wasn't. He was supposed to wait so many days to report his share buying. He didn't do that. He bought it all within a lump sum, more or less. And then next thing you know, by the time he reports it, he had a fuck ton of shares, and that's where this whole thing started. Of I want to buy Twitter. Should I
Yeah,
buy
but I don't
Twitter?
think
Da,
he
da, da,
was
da, da.
already majority shareholder when he wanted to buy Twitter. I mean, he could
No,
have
that's
been,
what
but
I'm.
that's what I'm.
He he was he was close, but that's he got that way by doing essentially a takeover because he did it illegally by not reporting the shares that he was buying in the right amount of time. So, like, in theory, he bought 50 million shares. He was supposed to wait. He was supposed to report that within 3 months. He didn't do that. If he would have reported it, the other shareholders could have made other moves to make sure that he never got any more shares, essentially.
Yeah,
But
but if you
no,
are trying to do a hostile takeover, like the hostile takeover of a company thing, like even from listening, to Josh, like you could do it. You
yeah.
can do it. So I mean, granted, it's a
So like, so if I'm Elon and and I have this patent and no, everybody needs it.
yeah, but if
What can you do for me? Yeah, sure, I'm the richest man. I didn't have to do Twitter like that, but I did. So what you niggas gonna do for me?
well, yeah, I mean, if you are holding the chips, but if at the same time, I feel like my whole thing is that like I feel like it's like you already kicked the kickoff over for the football game without putting the fucking end zones up. That's how
Ain't
I
my
just
fault.
kind of feel. What do you mean it's
Yeah,
not?
sure. But I'm saying like I'm saying if I'm Elon and I've got the patent on and like we're gonna use mine. Not my fault that y'all niggas fucked up and that come to find like I mean because he didn't know. I mean who would have thought that this later on down
I
the
feel
line
like that
that
was probably his game plan though. But the problem is then the government people were like, "No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to take like his fucking Charger shit because he's already moved. He's moved 4 DHS ahead of us. So now that we're playing catch up. So like I feel like it's an ego game, but like at the same time, like you already got the info. Like he can provide you the
or he
information
can.
for the shit. Is he going to
Yeah.
require some money for it? Yeah. But why are you then going to let all these privatized companies? And now we're fucking sitting here with broken iPhone chargers charging these fucking cars. So
I'm sure niggas will better than me. It's just gonna be a minute, and I can't wait to see how that plays out. But hopefully, like Elon's got a patent on some shit. They go
I'm sure he has a patent on it, but like I'm sure that that's the idea is for him to become the manufacturer of all of these superchargers and like have all the chargers become Tesla chargers.
right.
So like which would make sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
buy from the winner.
Mm-hmm.
Like why are we playing? And I mean, is it more of an ego stroke from the U.S. government that they're saying like, oh, you fucking outplayed us and that we're gonna try and play catch up and try and catch up to you and make our own superchargers with blackjacks and hookers. So we're gonna make our own superchargers. They're gonna be better than yours, but they're not going to be. And now we have a bunch of fuck up chargers where now you have to have 6 different accounts depending on what town you're in because each charger is going to be different. You're going to have to boop your card and make different accounts with all these fucking different charging. It just seems so fucking asinine to me.
Well, that also goes to the charging. Like you have all those different charge point companies,
Mm-hmm.
so like you'd have to figure out a way, I guess,
And
to
each one's trying to become the company that does them all.
right. Right. So
So,
you're gonna have to figure out how that goes. Uh,
well, regardless, out of all those companies that have been made and they're making chargers, like there's going to be a victor. Somebody's
Right.
one of them's going to become the charger that goes across America or across the world. So,
Now
like,
that deal is gonna like that them working that out because not let's say I don't remember the other company, but
plug
yeah,
power.
plug power. Like let's say we do go with charge point, but plug you could still keep as a company that works as
They'll just get
uh,
bought up. They would get bought up, and
yeah.
like they can, yeah, we can use the infrastructure that they now have
Mm-hmm.
to go
Right,
put the
right,
chargers out there and
right.
install the
Yes,
chargers and shit. But like, you
and they
have
could
these
still
companies.
run their property, and they just pay us. Like we could buy you, and then we're just now your parent.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the
Yeah.
idea, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like, what I'm saying is like, you didn't have to have all the. I mean, competition's always good for capitalism. So
It is good, and you don't. I don't. And you can't have a monopoly. It's illegal. So you would have to have. You have to have two at least. Even though Pico's a monopoly, but
there's all types of monopolies out here.
there are. But you can't have
All
them.
those Fortune 500 companies are fucking monopolies.
That's why they have the little fucking fake companies and ghost companies.
Mm-hmm. Johnson and Johnson, and then like when example when you had the uh baby formula shortage, there then you realize that there's only two big companies that are making
Mm-hmm.
all of the formula. Egg shortage. Now you find out that this one supplier is like one of the biggest suppliers in America. So Intel is now making a huge facility in the middle of America to produce chips.
Which is needed.
It's all just wild.
Hopefully they use it and don't just be like my job, just to build fucking warehouses and just let them collect dust.
It could. Who knows? Well, they won't be ready till 2025, I think, to even start producing anything. So,
Hey, this is one of the nicest blunts I've rolled in it. Tell
is
you
that
that.
the third one you've rolled tonight?
Second.
Second one? I feel like it took
Second.
you a while to roll that one. Then. Looks
Oh
like you
no,
rolled one like half
it's
an
just
hour
been
ago.
sitting. It's just been sitting, drying and chilling. I just picked it up just to look at it, hit it real quick, see what it's about. It's for after the pod if she's still awake.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, the only other thing that we've pretty much talked through my little
Mm.
fucking escapade of um, fucking.
You hear? You see the Andrew Tate leaks? The nigga might be innocent.
Yes, I did. I did see that last week. That shit is pretty fucking wild.
It is. It
So,
is.
and
We'll see how that goes. I don't know.
bro,
I
if he
don't know.
does come out though, I feel like it's just going to make that manosphere shit just go even harder.
Oh, bro, if I'm Andrew Tate, I'm going on every every show that talks shit, and I'm just whipping my dick out,
Yeah,
putting it
just
on
being
the
like,
table.
look at
Suck
this.
it.
Look at this fucking
Mm-hmm.
piece of paper of literally the shit that I was talking about was literally happened.
Yep.
They literally tried to defame me for nothing.
Yep.
I'm like, dumb fucking idiots putting that shit, like having this shit in WhatsApp, and like people are just stupid.
Yeah. I mean, they're cam girls. I mean, they
Yeah,
had
I
no
mean, I
skills,
understand they're not
no
the smartest.
education. Yeah.
They're literally just there from looks, and like I don't understand the fucking. I mean, I don't. Do you think they all just hit a certain age of like 30 with like a kid or two, and like they have a bunch of money, and then like, or like they don't have any money and they're alone, and they're like, maybe I did fuck up.
Who, these girls?
Yeah. Do you think they hit that age like that? Do you think they hit the
Uh,
realization?
I don't know. I don't see when it.
I feel like eventually it's going like this whole thing of the manosphere versus feminism. It's going to implode.
I'm trying to think of like what benefit these girls would have because like we don't know their names. It's not like they're getting clout off of this. They're not out here doing interviews or anything like that. Like they haven't filed civil lawsuits like with the Deshaun Watson case where they're suing for fuck tons of millions. So like I really don't know what their gain would be other than if he really did do something that I don't know. Like maybe there's some like sure there's corroboration in these text messages of like yo let's fuck him over and whatever. But like maybe that stems from him doing some fuck shit to them and then being like
Totally
hey let's
possible. Yeah,
you
there
know what
could
I
have been some
mean.
fucked up. Like, I mean, it could be totally like due to the fact of like the money situation, because he was doing their taxes and shit like that. It could totally stem from some minute fucking they
True, very well true. Yeah,
something totally fucking stupid. So
but why not just sue him? Like if it's about money, like why like you putting him in jail and his brother in jail, eh, like you're not doing it. Like I
maybe it
don't
has to
know.
do
Like
with the fact that like of the whole getting rich off the manosphere and then like going around to these talk shows like Fresh and Fit and then seeing this shit kind of pop off. Could be like, oh, they think
so
they're all
you want
high
him
and
in
mighty and top
jail?
of the wall. I mean, we've seen, I think we've seen people do crazier shit for less.
Sure, 100%. I
So
can't wrap my head around it.
it
Like
just be
I'm not.
crazy out here, bro. It just be
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm not that nuts. Where I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I can't find the logical reason. So clearly, I mean, they could be nuts.
It could literally
Um,
just because they just, I don't know. They could have made it their life mission to try and get in there and ruin these guys' lives,
yeah, that's
and
yep, that
which
could
is
be it.
totally possible. It could be that they totally did something crazily fucked up and they were just trying to get revenge, or like this is how they thought it was going to be right. I don't know. And I don't
Yeah, no,
think we'll
you're
ever
absolutely
know.
right. It very well could be a revenge thing
So
and just we want to ruin their lives. Uh, make them go through all this. It very well could be that too.
I would definitely fucking probably associate, and like, granted, with the current landscape of like what their position was of being like, oh, we're running a top G school, we're teaching young men and how to be successful and how to like weed out the gold diggers and all these fucking crazy feminist bitches. So I could totally in today's like that narrative now totally fits. You wouldn't have thought about this narrative like 20 years ago. So
True. They've been trying to get him for years though.
yeah, but
Like, I
how
don't
else was
know.
he gonna? How else were you gonna get him besides probably pussy?
No. I'm saying
The
like the remain.
government was trying to get him.
Yeah, been building cases against these motherfuckers for years though, and then like these chicks like doing this like really helped like I guess their
Mm-hmm.
case, but like
I mean, if you
but
look
the
at the backstory of the guy definitely kind of is like a fucking Romanian mob kind of boss. It like running
yeah
casinos. He's running these fucking cam girl websites. Like it's all fucking super
shady
shady
activity.
business. And I'm sure like when
Yeah,
it comes tax time, I'm sure fucking or he bangs some fucking political dude's daughter or some crazy shit like that, and somebody gets their butt hurt and wants to start a vendetta. I don't fucking know. It's crazy out here.
there
Fucking
was
crazy
something
top secret in the
about
world.
a roommate. There is something he did try to recruit some.
Some politician's daughter, I think,
Yeah,
though, right? Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then, like, like if you're living in a place where you don't have complete control, like, my man Vladimir Putin over there throwing bitches off 160-story buildings,
Mm-hmm.
then, yeah, you got to kind of go covert, try and get them some other way. Plant the fucking drugs or plant the girls. So, and
Hmm.
honeypot has always been a good fucking plan, man.
True. True.
So it does fucking
Yeah.
the internet. If he does come back out, the internet's gonna fucking explode.
Oh my god,
It's
it's
gonna
gonna
be
be
fucking
crazy.
wild.
It's like Kanye coming back. Kanye come back with this new Adidas deal, boy. He gonna be going crazy. What? Y'all niggas thought he was talking about Jews and Hitler before? Oh boy.
Oh, but yeah, bro, that shit's gonna be
that
nuts.
nigga gonna
There's
go
gonna be
crazy.
swastikas on the sides of Jews or like on the sides of
Of
fucking
Yeezys.
shoes. Yeah, there's
I'm
gonna be
wearing them.
Yeezys with like fucking with like the fucking midsole. Yeah. This part is just gonna be like dripped blood.
I'm down. I'm wearing it.
As long as it looks
Oh
dope.
well.
I really would love to know what the fucking story behind that is. Like granted, you had a bunch of fucking made shoes, and like maybe the backlash from people being like, "I'm not buying these at this price," like regardless of how comfortable the shoe is, because it is wild that you were gonna try and still sell these things for a premium ass price. I mean, granted, you're using premium product or whatever, but like it's not worth You can't
There,
have it attached to a name, then take the name away from it, and then still sell for the same
they're
premium named
legit
price.
feezies. They're the legit feezies. They're the most
Mm-hmm.
legit feezies. Hold on, I gotta go. I gotta fucking. I'm alright.
Good.
Maybe, probably.
All right. Well, on this note, we're gonna fucking call it quits for the night.
Just thought
So,
of.
all right. Well,
Yeah,
if
I'm gonna have to
anybody has
go.
sat around and listened to our bullshit and listened to our fucking,
No, I gotta. Yeah.
all right. Well, he's gonna be gone. So if you've made it this far, fucking please like and subscribe. Yeah. If you're in the market for getting an energy drink, I recommend Dubby. Dubby. For 10% off, please use the code StankyDank. Has really no affiliation with this channel, but has affiliation with my Twitch channel. So, where you can come over and see me play Escape from Tarkov, video games and shit throughout the week. But yeah, if you've found this enjoyable and entertaining in any way, shape, or form, please give us a like and subscribe. If you're on any other the platforms, please make our way over to the YouTube. It's No Fox Podcast, all one word. Should come up. Still need to work on thumbnails. Yeah, we're working on it. Slow roll. I don't have fucking time to do it. So, but yeah, thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with some more fuckery of what happened throughout the week, and maybe there'll be some more supply chain problems and just more fuckery in the world that we can talk about. And yeah, everybody, you guys have a great night, pleasant tomorrow, and peace.